luchador mask in his hand, and he like extends a quill, and he's like, Will you sign my mask?
I just be like, sure, kid, anything for you.
Oh, Jesus.
And as you sign the mask, you look over and you see Tony is just like a little bit disappointed that his son is asking for another wrestler's autograph.
I'll look at Bubba as I give him the mask back, or however I signed it or whatever. Just be like, hey, kid, your dad's no slouch. He gave me a run for my money.
Oh, did you really, Dad? I don't know why. He's like a cute kid now instead of a Southern person.
Went from full-on a hick to, like, 8-year-old in a second.
That's just the power of Locke.
Yeah. So he looks
Locke
pretty...
changes the accents around him.
I do.
He does. That's his...
As I started this campaign with a Brooklyn accent and now speak completely normally. I think that's pretty on brand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you proceed to kind of like chat up Tony and Bubba a little bit. And Nana kind of ushers the chief over and says, well, I mean, we don't like to keep the pearl waiting. He's like, well, we can get somebody moving it whenever you guys are ready.
Would it be possible to wait until sunrise? Because I don't think I want to go through the jungle when it's dark, and I could use a nap.
Yeah, no, sure, absolutely. Yeah, we'll just post up. I mean, we got plenty of empty space.
Cool.
Maybe that would be best. We could prepare properly.
All right, so I think once the prisoners are sort of isolated from the chief and Nana, I think Bait wants to kind of address the group and say,
Whoa, prisoners?
That's what I mean. You guys entered the whole campaign as
calls
prisoners.
us.
That's what I call it.
Free folk, thank you very much.
We served our time.
Okay, can you give me a catchy name for this band of misfits?
The Turtle Fuck Boys.
So once the Turtle Fuck Boys are separate...
The Bellend Boys.
The Bellend Boys, including one girl.
And Maeve.
So, I'm using boys as B-O-I, which I find is unisex.
I think we should be called the Bellend Boys. And Maeve.
Maeve and the Bellend Boys.
When Maeve and the Bellend Boys are separated from Nana and the Chief, Bait wants to kind of address the group and say, listen, I don't know the depth of your experience here in the Badlands, but any sort of resurrection usually comes at some sort of... It is not a thing that people hand out as a free favor. We have courted a pretty mighty gift here, and I won't pretend to understand it, but I must admit I'm nervous about the prospect of spending this power on even someone as noble as your friend. Are you sure this is the course of action we should be taking?
Well, we've gotten this far.
Then what else should we do?
Yeah, what would you do with it? Sell it?
Not at all. Well, myself, I would seek a way off the island without indebting myself to its powers. We should be trying to get out of here. I must admit, the festival is exhilarating, but sobering up, I am eager to depart.
Are you lonely, Bait?
Can someone please pull up a couch? I have a lot to unburden. No.
Have you Bait... no concept of friendship?
Wow. Coming from Kalt, this is
Kalt is all about friends.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Has a very strong sense of friendship. Bait just sort of blinks and looks at me and says, my demons are my own.
I talk not of demons. I talk of friends.
I think metaphor might be lost on our friend here, and I sort of look to Locke and Maeve for like any sort of help.
Did you just call Mr. Edmund a demon?
Okay, I'm starting to see
all
this
right,
is going off
let's
the rails.
Fuck him up.
Just a little bit.
The pearl grows arms like a Geodude.
All right, settle down. I'm gonna stop Kalt, like put my arm out in front of him, and I'll just turn to Bait and say, look, we don't leave anybody behind, with the exception of you.
I think we've established that at least twice. We'll see what kind of high score we can rack up. Now, I guess before we go, the only question I should ask is, are you even looking to get off of this island?
I want to go home, eventually. That's what I want to do.
First Edmund, and then we find a way off the island.
All right. If you will have me, I will do my best to help, but I really think we should be keeping our eyes open here.
Beekeeping.
We should be beekeeping. Could someone zip me up? I don't want to get stung.
Is that one of your metaphors?
Your metaphors are crass and useless.
This is fair.
Be gone! And he, Kalt turns around and goes to take a nappy.
Good stuff.
I'm gonna go to Bait. I'm just gonna be like, we're gonna help our friend. You can help us, or you can stay here and
Or you can die.
Or you can die.
Okay. To Maeve, Bait just says, "I will do my best to help you," and he just has a nervous look on his face as he kind of backs away.
Guys, it's going to be fine. If we have to make a sacrifice, that's why we're bringing Bait. Come on.
Mr. Bait, can you? I hold out my pinky. Do you promise to help us and not run away?
He sort of looks puzzledly. It's like, well, I think I have yet to run away from you, but if this is what it takes, he reaches out and locks pinkies with her. I will help you save your friend.
Okay, at this point, I would like for Maeve and Bait to both roll a d20 for me.
Ah, okay. 4.
Am I adding something to it? Because I got an 11.
So at this, you know what? I'll give you another. Can you, Bait, please roll a wisdom saving throw for me?
Oh, I like where this is going. My wisdom save, I got an 18 plus 5, 23.
Okay. So Maeve, he extends his hand and makes this pinky promise to you that he will help you to resurrect your friend.
Good enough for me.
That's it?
That's it. I'm going to go take a nap.
All right, so I will say one thing. Uge or Age? Uage.
Aguave.
Is going to be watching Bait the entire time. As you sleep, he will be watching.
Bait doesn't go to sleep in the tent. He goes and lies out, kind of on the edge of the tree line, like as close as you can get to the beach while still being shaded by trees.
Yep, 5 feet away.
I just see that.
Not being particularly stealthy, like not saying anything necessarily to you, but just like slobbering a little bit.
Can I do, Josh? Do I hear this thing?
Oh yeah, I mean it's not very inconspicuous.
Okay, I swat at it.
Okay, roll to hit.
I just grab a branch, like a palm branch. Oh, fucking nat 20.
Okay, roll a d4.
I'm not trying to hurt it. I'm just trying to get it to go away. But let's see. I got a 2.
So, Uge takes 4 points of bludgeoning damage as he's swatted with a palm frond.
Bastard. I mean, Uge does have eye rays, but he'll rise up about 15 feet and just stare at him from above.
Okay. So over the course of the
Dripping
night,
saliva
Uge,
on him.
Yeah, it's just lording over you. Occasionally, you just get like a little droplet of Uge juice on the forehead.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't like it.
And then right as you go to sleep, you hear friendship.
Would anyone like to make any other preparations for the night?
Absolutely not.
Nope, just want to rest and heal up.
I am all about that.
As the festivities wind down, there's some more eating and dancing and food, general merriment throughout the night.
General merriment.
General merit.
People start making their way back to their huts. Tony and his wife invite you to stay with them if you'd like, Locke.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Tony and Olivia escort you over to their hut with Bubba. It's pretty nice. There's a lot of wrestling paraphernalia that they've crafted just kind of out and about. And then, would anyone else like to do anything special before we wrap up the evening?
Nope.
I'm good.
Okay. So everybody can gain the benefits of a long rest. And half your hit dice back if you've used any.
Not use any.
And as the sun kind of rises in the morning, Nana has taken the Pearl of Power and is currently kind of like sheltering it in her hut. But as the sun rises in the evening here, you in the morning, you see it is a sort of like a burnt sienna sky as the sun rises over the village, and you just have like this feeling like you're in the presence of like a great power of some kind. That's it. What would you like to do?
I feel something on the wind, my friends.
Well, I guess there's no time like the present.
Okay. So you
Maeve,
can see
the non sequitur machine.
Wait, what? Speak your truth, girl. What does that mean?
It means let's go save Mr. Edmund.
Well, why didn't you just say that?
So, for the purposes of this, how would you like to transport Sir Edmund's body?
Oh fuck, we have to bring him.
Oh man, could I make an Arcana check and see if I do make him into a zombie, will that stop potential curing effects later down the line? I mean, if he can just walk himself
Okay,
there.
Ryan, I'm gonna metagame here. You know Josh is gonna use that as an excuse to kill this fucking character. You fucking know it.
Roll Arcana.
No! I'm so scared.
It's pretty good, like 17.
You know that by resurrecting a body, you stand a good chance of disenfranchising the soul attached to it, if it is still attached to it, which could result in a failure to like resurrect or something.
Okay.
Like that.
That gels with what a player thinks, but now Kalt thinks that as well.
I'm so glad you two are on the same page.
You gotta play by the dice, Colin.
I'm nervous. So I guess Bait kind of looks at the group and says, I mean, how far is the walk? Can we just carry him? I mean, not me. I have a pretty bad strength roll, but still.
It's about it's a couple miles here.
Mr. Chief, is there any chance you might be able to help us? Like,
Oh yeah, I'm going with you guys.
how buff is this guy?
You can't miss this. This is dope. This is buck.
Young Maeve, could you levitate Edmund? It would make his transportation much more efficient.
I can, but only for 10 minutes.
Like some form of wicked-ass balloon. Ha ha!
Locke is standing here just like, ahem.
Yes?
Do you have something
Sorry, do you
wrong
have
with
something
your
in your
throat?
throat?
Do you need
He's
a
just gonna-
lozenge, my friend?
We got eucalyptus.
Just say, I don't know if you guys remember what happened yesterday, but I put on a pretty impressive feat of strength there.
You know, this seems very much like attention-seeking behavior. If you want to help, just say so.
You seem very much like a behavior. Shut up.
Okay, and now he's being defensive. Let's all calm down.
Bait, wait. Locke, you did a very good job yesterday. You are quite strong. You're a very strong man, a very manly strong man. Do you feel...
So let me carry him.
Do you feel better now?
If you let me
Okay.
carry him. That's all I want.
The chief kind of interrupts momentarily. He's like, I mean, you whooped my ass.
All right.
It's fair.
And, yeah, if you want to, you can carry him. You guys can fashion some sort of I don't know, something to carry
A
him
baby
on.
Bjorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do like, what is it, like a little carrier thing?
Yeah, let's get some vines.
Sure. You know, like, so you find like 2 bamboo shoots and take like the linen that he was wrapped in and kind of make like almost like a stretcher, if you like.
Yeah, okay. Wait, that means... Okay, so would... So, Mr. Locke and Chief, do you guys want to carry the body?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, let's do it.
The hospitality here is really something to be commended.
So Nana and Kaimana.
Are you saying that as you or Bait?
That Bait.
Okay.
Sarcastically, I suppose.
So Nana and Kaimana also escort the two of you, or the party, as you kind of set off into the jungle here. Did anybody want to make any preparations before you leave?
At this point, I am going to transform into a raven using my wild shape, and I am going to basically fly ahead because I also encountered some alligators and shit before, and I'm just sort of going to float around and make sure that everything seems chill.
Sure. Kalt, that is your cue to shoot the bird.
All right.
So
Literally, there's a bolt of fire in his hand, and he's like, "Ooh." I'll do one thing, just a preparatory thing.
Mm-hmm.
I will cast comprehend language as we're getting ready as a ritual, and that will allow me to understand all spoken language or written language when I touch it. It'll last for an hour, but I can keep on doing it as a ritual if we need it later, I suppose.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Just to save a little time, just in case we come across something interesting.
Sure. So as you are all making your way into the jungle, there's a tranquility to the atmosphere around you that you haven't felt in a really long time. Like, since you've been here, it's been all buzz and birds chirping, and you can hear the wildlife stirring. And this is almost just a more serene kind of feel as you make this journey. The journey passes relatively uneventful. Couple snakes, couple big spiders, that kind of stuff, but nothing that requires any sort of combat, just easily brushed off. And as you approach the head of the island, you can see that it kind of levels off into almost like a plains type feeling, like a grassy hill at the crest of what you only can assume is the head of the island. And Nana kind of leads you down this little cobblestone path to the left and in there you see there is one cave that seems to form naturally in the side of this hill. And she looks over to you, the party, and she says, "Well, this is our destination. This is the ear of the island. You need only enter and make your plea to it, but I will warn you, it can only be one of you."
Bait lands as the bird on the ground and then transforms back into his full self and says to Nana, "Is there a risk of any sort of physical harm when going through this process? I understand titans, so to speak, like this are not to be trifled with."
If your intentions are pure, I can't see any harm coming, no.
Locke is gonna kind of like kneel down to Maeve and ask, "Hey, so I know Mr. Edmund is pretty important to you. Do you think you can ask the island really, really nicely to bring him back for us?"
Yeah, I think I can do that. I can be pretty charming.
I will agree. The little girl is quite personable.
Oh, well, it sounds like it's settled then.
Do I need to bring Mr. Edmund's body with me, or do I just need to bring the pearl?
You'll need both.
Oh boy, that's a lot for a small child to carry.
No.
Yeah, but she can levitate for just 10 minutes. I don't think it would take longer than 10 minutes
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
to get inside of an ear.
So I'm going to take the Pearl of Power, and I'm going to levitate Sir Edmund's body in front of me and just kind of push it along as I walk towards the cave.
Okay. Now, just in case, I'm going to need you to roll wild magic.
Please, no.
10.
Okay, good to go. So
Thank God.
I like to tempt fate.
You reanimate all dead bodies around you as zombies. That's what would happen.
What is it? Bait, kind of with a concerned look, he steps away. Can I roll stealth to see if I can step away without being noticed by Nana and the chief?
Sure, roll stealth.
Here, that is a 2 + 1. That's a 3.
Yeah, no, they
Nice.
everybody's pretty keenly aware of where everyone else is.
Okay. I guess I step aside, realize I'm not subtle, and I just like pretend to pee or something. I don't know.
Okay. So, with that, Maeve, you levitate the body of Sir Edmund, still draped in the linen there. And as you kind of walk with him into the cave, do tieflings have dark vision?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So you proceed into the cavern, and it's natural because it is created by this Titan, but it is unnatural to you in that it's just weird. It's not what you would expect.
Would you say that it's eerie?
It is. It's very.
Oh fuck! Oh god! All right, Maeve's got to die. It's
Josh, visually,
I approve.
visually, how similar is this to Jimmy Neutron when he has a brain blast? Because that's all I'm seeing in my head right here.
I mean, I've seen Jimmy Neutron. I do not know what you're talking about.
Damn it. Okay.
Sorry, man. All I know is
thing though. He has brain blasts.
Hold on.
Send him a YouTube link, somebody.
I'm
Come
doing
on.
it. Chill.
Got a blast.
But anyways, as you proceed in, it's dark. It's damp. It smells horrible. Like, have you ever sometimes noticed that the back of your ear smells funny? It's like that.
No, I can't say I have.
You've never scratched the back of your ear and then noticed that your finger smells like a little bit funnier?
Yeah, no, that's definitely. I know what he's talking
That's
about.
why mom tells you to wash behind your ears. That's why.
Yeah, that's
the
like
whole
that's
That's
the whole
why I wash behind my ears.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, Pat,
but
you remember the
anyways.
Letterkenny joke where he's just like, I'm just worried sometimes a tater's gonna roll out of there. Like,
Yeah, I know,
it's just
I know.
it's a thing.
But anyways, so as you proceed in, it's got that kind of like a weird smell. And you keep walking, and you're not really sure where it is you're going, but it's a straight shot. So you keep walking, and you keep walking until eventually you can see just kind of in front of you what appears to be like a membrane of some sort.
Wait, are we gonna puncture this giant turtle's ear membrane? We're gonna make it deaf?
To normal
So-
people, that's called an eardrum.
Yeah,
that's
so
that's the thing I got.
you see the eardrum of this giant turtle, and it has like a slight beat to it, just like a very slow beat, like a boop, boop.
Like a drum.
That one Pat likes. Of all of them, that's the one.
That was crazy.
And you kind of get the impression that this is the end of the line.
Okay.
So what would you like to do?
Okay, I'm gonna stop concentrating on levitate and just set down Mr. Locke.
No.
No, sorry, not Mr. Locke, Mr. Edmund. Fuck.
Yeah, the dragon's just been floating this whole time.
I go over and play the drum.
And I pull out the pearl of power from my bag. And then I kind of, face towards the membrane / drum, and I say, hi, Mr. Turtle. My name's Maeve. I've been visiting on this island for a couple days now. Our boat crashed, and my friend here, Mr. Edmund, he was hurt, and we tried to save him with some of the fruit, but it didn't work. So Nana told us that you could that you might be able to help, and he really means a lot to all of us. He's almost like family, and he really doesn't deserve to go out like this. So if there's any way that you could, bring him back, that would be really, really, really thoughtful of you.
You just see
Please.
the eardrum go, doo, 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 doo. Roll persuasion.
You killed him.
I swear to fucking God, if I get a nat 1. 14 plus 8. It's a 22.
So as you make this plea, you just see the membrane vibrate, and you're like, okay, that's cool. And then
Okay, that's cool.
you feel like a little gust of wind just kind of whoosh through the tunnel, and you can hear it very well, as everything in here seems to be designed for that. So at this point, you start to feel sort of like a warmth emanating from the Pearl of Power, and you get the impression like maybe you're supposed to do something with it. You're not quite sure what, but it feels like it is almost like building energy.
I drop it like it's hot on Mr. Edmund.
Okay, so you like drop it onto Edmund's body, and in that moment, you see there is a sudden flash of bright light that emanates from the pearl, and it seems to, like, as it impacts his body, almost like a slow motion water balloon breaking, it just kind of like dissolves over his body. I'm going to ask you, Maeve, to please roll a D100 for me.
Just real quick, do we see light emanating out of this ear hole now?
You do. You see a flash of bright, like, sunlight emanate from inside the cavern.
Bait looks very quickly to the chief and Nana and says, "Is that a thing we should be concerned about? Because I am concerned about it."
Aren't you peeing?
Not this whole time. It's been 10 minutes. I'm old, but my bladder isn't that big.
Nana turns over, goes, well, I don't know. It's been a long time. Well, I guess we'll find out.
I guess I should ask, is there any harm in me going to investigate?
Yes.
All right. Very cool. Very happy with that.
Nana will fuck you up.
I rolled a 32.
32. Okay.
It's pretty
so
below average.
As it's actually, and I'm not gonna lie, perfect. As you
Perfect for whom?
Let him talk.
So as you drop this pearl of power, and in this moment there's a bright flash, your dark vision kind of like shattered, like almost like you're looking through night vision goggles and somebody turned on the light. It's very bright all of a sudden, and then as you look down, you see as Sir Edmund's body is washed over with this bright light and this like almost like glitter shimmering from the dust of the pearl, and you see as some of his features begin to shift and change a little bit, not drastically, but you notice that his chin gets a little pointed, and his ears get a little bit more pointy, and the hair that was dark and brown becomes very like whitewashed, and his beard, which has grown in a little bit in these past few days, goes from being like a dark black or brown to being just like a almost unnatural white color. And for metagame purposes, he has been
Gandalfed.
Well,
no, he's been. It's a spell. It's the
reincarnate spell.
Yeah, reincarnate. Yeah, so he's been changed.
I am Edmund the White.
And he is.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
He's now a drow.
Gandalfed.
No, he's not. But
He's not a drow?
he's not.
Then why is his hair all white?
So on the reincarnate table, a 32 is a high.
It's a
elf,
high elf. Yep.
which is perfect because Edmund was half high elf and half human. But
Yeah, but why is his hair white?
Because
You can't
it's
see
cool.
it yet.
Shut up. And,
Whatever. Bullshit. Somebody's seen Lord of the Rings one too many times.
Yep.
Gandalf the Grey is the real big dick OG.
I mean, do you really want to get into the Maiar that were transformed into the five wizards in the middle of
Do you
the
see
second
what
age?
you've done?
Don't fuck with me on Gandalf lore. The Valar knew what they were doing.
Oh my god, copyright.
Yeah, there's some other boring podcast that's devoted solely to this bullshit. Colin, why don't you join that one?
But Maeve, as you watch as these features slowly shift and change, you just hear a subtle murmur come from the mouth of Sir Edmund. Is not on the petunias, Rex.
Mr. Edmund? I tap him on the shoulder.
Child,
Hi.
is that you?
Hello.
Oh, I was having the most wonderful dream.
Well, sorry to wake you. You're alive now.
Oh, well, Why are we in this dark, wet tunnel?
It's super eerie, isn't it? I go and face the
You had to go
membrane.
twice on that fucking joke?
Yes, of course. Well, I made the joke one time. Now Maeve has to do it. So I face the membrane / eardrum, and I'm like, thank you, Mr. Turtle. And I'm like, all right, Mr. Edmund, let's get out of here.
Oh, I suppose. And he kind of like stands up and stretches out a little bit.
Also, you look a little different.
I look a little different. Well, I suppose I've been sleeping a while. Do I look more well rested?
Sure.
So as you two sort of slowly meander out of the ear, you see the rest of the party, and you guys all see that Sir Edmund looks a little taller, and he has more pointed features, and his hair is noticeably now white, as he is gone full high elf.
Guys, I think it worked.
It is good to see you, my friend.
Oh, it's nice to see you also. I'm so hungry. Are these turtles?
They are called turtles, my friend. Turtles.
Oh, I think I've read of those. Well, my name is Sir Edmund Montgomery Blackwood. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And Nana and Chief are like, hey, how you doing? Oh, it's so nice to meet you. I love talking to other player characters at the same time.
Josh, continue to talk to yourself.
Yep. And you all have successfully, with that, resurrected Sir Edmund. Congratulations.
The Bell End boys strike again.
Bait is still, like, just very suspicious of everything that's going on. Can I just roll, like, Insight or Arcana or something just to try to understand what is going on here? Because
I mean, called friendship.
Sure. Roll Insight.
That is a 14 plus 5, 19.
19. So, as you are trying to ponder what just happened, you look over and you see that off in the distance, like on the outside of the head of the island, like in the water that they are pushing towards, you see a pod of whales and, water spouts kind of flying up. And you see off in the distance a lot of like beautiful birds of paradise just flying around in their shimmering colors. And you realize that the power of the island, the nature that is being preserved here, is so potent and so powerful that really it's not any kind of magic you could study. It's just by sheer force of life, this island continues to push on.
Okay, well then at that, kind of soaking in what's going on, Bait will step up to Edmund and say, I haven't seen you in quite some time. I'm glad to see you are well. And he extends his hand to shake Edmund's.
Edmund looks confused for a moment and then extends his hand and shakes it. And, oh, why is your hand so damp?
And then Kalt's right behind Bait.
Witness the power of friendship.
So you all have some explaining to do. And Edmund is like, where are we and who are these wonderful people? But you all explain kind of what's going on as you make your journey back towards the island.
Yeah, and Bait to camera says, this place really is paradise, huh?
I think that's the best reaction we could have asked for.
At that moment, Kalt puts both his hands on the side of Bait's head and just starts casting Firebolt.
I was going to say,
You
with
saw
that
it.
moment,
He had to be put down.
you hear you feel the island shake beneath you as the turtle just lets out a gargantuan. And so you all sort of make your way back towards the island, or back towards the village, with Sir Edmund in tow. And what would you like to do?
So, Edmund, how do we get off this island? We thought you'd have a good idea, that's why we brought you back, right?
I mean,
Bait's jaw drops.
so you're just now getting into the island, or into the village, and you can see that the life of the village kind of goes on. Everybody's out doing their jobs, and you see the children all like playing gleefully. And as you come back, the children run over and they're like, "Nana, Chief!" and they're like celebrating. And then they see Sir Edmund. They're like, "Hey, you did it!" And you ask Sir Edmund kind of somewhat jokingly, like, "So how do we get off this island? You'd have a good idea." And you look over and you see little Lulu, as she runs over to join you guys, is still playing with her toy boat. And she reaches over towards Maeve with the boat, and she goes, "You could use my boat if you want to leave."
I mean,
Kalt's eyes roll into the back of his skull. It just can't take it.
It's a little small for us. But it's really sweet of you to offer.
It gets bigger.
It does, and that's why I told every girl in high school.
This makes me uncomfortable.
That typical lie.
Well, how does it get bigger? Guys,
I don't
pull your
know.
finger out of your ass. Come on.
Sometimes it's a different boat.
Can you show us?
I don't know how.
Well, okay. Well, let's play with the
Right,
boat.
I will walk over to the girl, and I will ask her, "Excuse me, little Lulu, could you set the boat down for a moment?"
Bait turns to Locke and Edmund and says, "Does he typically announce his actions in such a fashion?"
Sometimes.
I suppose.
Shut up, Bait. I'm trying not to anger the turtles.
Roll just a general charisma check for me.
Oh, so you
General
want me
charisma check?
to fail this. All right. So that is -2, baby. 6 minus 2 is a 4.
So
Hey, little girl, put that shit down.
more accurate representation of what I say.
Lulu kind of like ducks behind Maeve for a moment, and she goes, "You can have the boat, but he can't."
I hold my hand out to Kalt, and I'm just like, hold on. And I take the boat, and I'm gonna try just setting the boat in the tide of the beach.
Okay, so you take this little toy boat out into the water, and you kind of wade out up to like your knee, and you set the boat down, and nothing really happens. You kind of sit there waiting, like, okay, well, she said the boat got bigger.
While she's staring at the boat, can Bait just kind of talk to the grown-ups, Edmund and stuff like that? Like, all right, this has been a spectacular success. Do we have a plan to get off of this island?
Sir, from what I understand, I've been dead for a little while, and before that I was unconscious, so I'm just now coming to terms with the fact that we're on an island.
Okay, well, I'll say you get a pass. Locke and Kalt, has there been any sort of plan beyond saving Edmund? Not to diminish the value of that quest, but, like, what's next?
I don't know, get a boat, sail.
Sir?
I think you're overthinking it. It's we were on a boat before. I'm sure we'll find a boat again, and we can just go on that boat and be on a boat again.
I take it you are comfortable on the sea, that you are so lackadaisical in your assumption that things work out. I'm going to go talk to some people who make more sense. And he walks over to talk to the chief's hut and stuff.
I look over at Locke. I'm like,
Do you fucking get this guy sometimes? Jesus Christ.
I'm just gonna shrug and be like, I don't know, man, hormones or something.
All right.
All right.
If you hold him down, I'll murder him and bring him back to life. Right? right?
I'd like to roll perception to see if I hear that as I'm walking away.
Sure, roll perception.
19 plus 5, 24.
You
I was
hear
not
it,
staying in stealthily.
and
so.
you not only do you hear it, but you make eye contact with Colt as he just stares you down, saying it.
I'm gonna cast Druidcraft and throw another fart at him.
I wink, just like
Do a little kissy face.
While all of this is happening, Maeve, what were you going to say?
I want to cast Enlarge Reduce on the boat to make it bigger.
Okay, so as you go to cast Enlarge Reduce on the boat, you cast your spell, and in a moment, there is a backfire on the spell as the enchantment that seems to be overtaking this boat prevents it from being changed.
Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. I take the boat over to Kalt. Like, Mr. Kalt, you know magic things. Can you take a look at it?
I thought Lulu didn't want me to have the boat.
and I look over at Lulu and like maliciously look at her.
She sticks her tongue out at you.
Just a little bit of flame swirls around his fingers, and he thinks about it real hard.
No.
I'm gonna take my hand and push his hand down.
All right, I will use the spell slot, and I will cast Identify.
Okay. So you cast Identify, and this is a boat of requirement. This boat requires attuning, but upon attuning, a user can change this boat into a seafaring vessel of their choice, provided that it is not militaristic in nature and of a size no larger than a oh god, I don't know boat sizes, like a medium-sized boat.
Now we gotta go Google a whole list of boats.
Yep.
I share this information.
It's like a 2-decker boat that can fit a bunch of people on the bottom.
Oh, you pretty comfortable with double deckers there, Colin?
I share this information with Maeve. Maeve, I would like you to focus on this boat for a few minutes. I want you to reach into it with your mind and see the magical strands that hold this world together. When you attune your mind and body to this boat, you will be able to control it. And with that control, you'll be able to rot a boat of greatness!
Okay. I take the boat and I walk back towards Lulu. Lulu, let's play with the boat. And I'm gonna kind of focus very intently on the boat as we're playing together.
Okay.
Bait walks back to the group with kind of just like a scrunched face and doesn't say anything, but he's just standing next to them looking frustrated.
Okay. So as
What's up with your face, man?
Well, turns out the the only boat they have is the one our friends are playing with, so I guess, whatever, you guys know what's going on. I'm just gonna sit back and watch it happen.
So as you're playing with the boat with Lulu, you spend about 10 minutes focusing on it until you can attune to it. And Lulu kind of explains, like, when she first found it, it was a canoe, but then she didn't want a canoe, she wanted a toy boat, so it became a toy boat.
That's so wholesome.
And
How many times did she say it?
Toy boat.
oh,
Tibbet.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I'm gonna think
Very
about
difficult.
the bell end to Electric Boogaloo. No, just the bell end.
If you can, imagine a giant skull right next to the steering. That would be excellent.
You know what? We'll get when we get there. We'll get there.
So, as you're being told to think about skulls, you see the boat slowly begin to like shimmer and shift in the water, and as the waves kind of rack across the side of it, it gets larger and larger until before you see a pretty accurate replica of the Bell End when you first came upon it on that island so long ago.
Can we get like racing stripes on this one?
Whatever Maeve would like, she can put on there.
I think it's perfect.
Well, asked and answered.
Well,
cool.
Bait, this is where we say goodbye. All right, crew, let's get on the boat.
I do have one question though. Remember that that squid thing, the monster that Nana told us about?
There's a squid thing.
The Kraken?
Oh, my word.
Yeah, and then Bait says, more or less why I was worried about getting off of the island. Yes, I imagine by the looks of that storm, we've got a problem one way or the other. I mean, the Bellend didn't make it in here. What's the guarantee it's going to make it out?
With the power of friendship.
Honestly, with that, I think we should leave it there.
That's actually a really fun ending. I like that a lot. That's great.
This boat is hereby known as the Friendship.
Nailed it.
Oh, man. I like the bell end.
So you focus on the boat, and you see the words that said bell end before shimmer and change to the friendship. So you focus on the boat, and you see the words that said bell end before shimmer and change to the friendship.
Kalt just